Have you ever wondered about the profound connection between achieving business excellence and ensuring environmental sustainability? Well, today's episode is all about that connection. We speak about the importance of sustainability in business, particularly for small businesses, sharing a success story of a local coffee shop. Joining us is a prominent guest, Kumar Vijayendra, an accomplished author and speaker recognized for his expertise in sustainable operations management. With an international perspective and nearly 2 decades of experience in driving operational excellence, Kumar is on a mission to guide business towards strategies grounded in the 4 Ps of sustainability, which stands for people, planet, profit, and purpose. Kumar's thought-provoking articles have been featured in leading trade journals and respected research publications. His newly released book, The Sustainable Entrepreneur, provides invaluable insights on leveraging sustainability for enhanced environmental impact and profitability. As president of Footsteps and serving on various boards, Kumar's expertise is recognized across industries. He has been invited as a member of the Forbes Business Council in recognition of his thought leadership and contribution to small business sustainability. Kumar holds an MBA from the University of Pittsburgh with a certification in sustainability. He is a certified Six Sigma Green Belt, a certified Scrum Master, and a certified executive coach. I am thrilled to introduce you to my amazing guest, Kumar. You are listening to the Business Excellence for Managers podcast, dedicated to all of you leaders and executives eager to continuously improve your business performance. I'm Juan, your host, and this podcast is proudly presented by Wave Business Excellence Footprint, my digital training company dedicated to your career and personal growth. Join me as I chat with inspiring individuals and professionals from around the globe, uncovering strategies that empower you as a manager to elevate business excellence within your organization. Having spent over 2 decades in various management roles within the international corporate world, I've transitioned into a management coach with a great passion for guiding managers and leaders towards greater results. My mission is simple: to equip you with the best techniques for refining your processes, ensuring customer satisfaction, and promoting employee motivation. The result? A measurable financial impact that far exceeds your investment. So join me on this exciting journey of continuous improvement for your organizational culture. I'm thrilled to have you on board. Hello, Kumar, and welcome to the Business Excellence for Managers podcast. It's so great to have you here.
Thank you, Juan. Thank you. Pleasure is all mine.
It's always great to see that we can always find interesting guests who write such amazing books like the one you have wrote, that it's linking business with sustainability and our environment. And I think that nowadays, even though every individual has their own responsibility towards the environment, but I think that also every single company has a responsibility towards the environment. If I think how many companies have done negative effects for our world, and now I think it's like the turning point where they are actually thinking, well, what is my company doing for our society and for our environment, for the water and the air and everything, that really to make it a holistic business, so that we not only think about profits, but also think about something bigger than just profits. So first of all, thank you then for being here. And my first question for you, Kumar, is how did you actually get to where you are today? What is your journey?
So, there are two parts to this answer. First of all, my journey for small businesses, as far as small business is concerned, and then my journey as far as sustainability is concerned. And then both of them kind of, merge in together. So after I finished off my master's, I was back then in India. My first entrepreneurial venture was focused around small businesses. I had studied finance, so essentially focus helping them in everything. Like I created a company which provided a one-stop financial solution for all your finance, tax, incorporation, registration, kind of, all those needs. That company happened because I realized then, I was in India then, and India that year had passed a law for which just radicalized the tax reforms. It was a completely different from what existed then. 2005 is what I'm talking about. And what I realized fresh out of my school, I realized that big businesses, they had their CPAs and corporate attorneys and corporate secretary and all that stuff. So they were okay. But small businesses were the ones which were struggling. That's where I created my company based out of this real realization that when it comes to small businesses, their challenges, their paradigms are much different compared to what small businesses have. And at times, not as favorable compared to what big businesses have. And at times, not as favorable as big businesses. So that was my small business journey. When I was getting my MBA here in Pittsburgh, in Pennsylvania, I was sitting in a class which was for sustainable business strategy. It was a whole intensive. We studied a lot. We studied a lot about the concepts and we did a lot of case studies as they do in MBA schools. All of them were just about the big global brands. I was very interested in the topic. I was very interested in the impact because it somehow resonated with me and with all the people, with all the entrepreneurs that I had worked for, because it was directly connected to that internal drive in each of us to be able to cause a positive impact, an impact much bigger than just my core life. So I knew there is this drive, there is this impact. So, and because of my small business experience and expertise, I started deep diving in out of curiosity about the small business participation in sustainability. And to my surprise, I realized that while a lot is talked about when it comes to big businesses, because of consumers, we changing and expecting different things from our businesses, big businesses now they go ahead and publish their annual ESG and other reports. But small businesses were not equally participating in that process. And to kind of give you a macro perspective, small businesses in any country, and I'm quoting the US for now, the data from here, but this is true almost for any country. Small businesses contribute about half of the GDP of any economy. And small businesses employ about half of the number of people employed in any country, in any economy. And I say about half because it differs in countries between 45 to 55%. And I like
Yeah.
using this example. So, sustainability is a goal for all of us. Leaving the planet a better place than we received for our future generations is a shared vision which all of us have. Like every single person, you ask them, they have this thing that they want to leave the planet, they want to leave the environment, they want to leave things around a little better than they receive for their next generation.
Yeah.
Now, imagine an eagle trying to take a flight with only one of its wings. In this vision, will not be able to take this flight if half of the wing, 50% of contributor of the GDP and employment, is not equally involved in that process.
Mm.
And that's where my niche comes in, which is how to inspire, enable, and demystify sustainability for small businesses. And that's my journey. That's been my journey. That's my drive.
That's fantastic. And it's really good because you really go very specific into that niche. And that's something that not many have done so far because I've always seen people trying to influence large corporations, large international corporations, but it was not to my awareness that half of all the people who are employed actually belong to small businesses and not to the large corporations. So that is really an eye opener for me. So thanks for putting that out. Then, not long after all of this realization came, you started to write a book. Your book is called The Sustainable Entrepreneur. So, could you tell us more about your book?
Yeah. The book essentially came as a primer, essentially based off my experiences. So I used my sustainability inspiration and my small business expertise to start supporting small businesses to actually embark on the journeys. And their initial questions and the things that I realized while working with them and my own research, I thought that this is the time when I need to create something which is like an easy to read, simplistic yet powerful solution, which any small business owner can just pick up and it can support him or her change their paradigm towards this goal. So that's where the book came from. And the book, essentially, what it does, if I can simplify that in two statements, it tells small businesses the why of sustainability and the how of sustainability. The
Mhm.
why,
Yeah.
meaning to say, why do you need to embark on this journey and why do you need to do it today? If you're not doing it, you are not only not being supportive to this whole grand vision that all of us have, but you're also not being That's not a long term view of your own business. So the why, and we'll deep dive in it as we go in the conversation further. And the
Yeah.
how, and the how was essentially the demystification concept. How could I, really simple words, give every small business owner a mantra, a north star, a framework to go ahead and adopt and adapt?
Yeah. That's really good because I think many people probably will struggle with the how, especially that they think, well, you can only do that for large corporations. And they never think that, well, how's that actually applicable to a small business? And from your experience, do you have perhaps an example for us how that can be applied for a small business?
Yes, I'll kind of take a moment before we talk about the how to talk about
Hmm.
the why. And I want to talk about
Hmm.
it because with all the clients that I work with, one of their initial question was, why do I even need to do this? And I want to use your platform to also talk about the why before we get in the how. Because once the why is clear, people figure out some mechanism. So, talking about the why, essentially, there are five factors. And then I ended up publishing a paper in Forbes as well about the five factors.
Hmm.
Consumers. So I tell all my small business clients, if you look at it, consumers are much more aware today compared to what they were 10 years ago. Especially with Gen Z becoming one of the main, their purchasing power increasing, they're coming in the workforce, they're spending, and their whole worldview. If consumers know that you are a company which is actually committed to the cause of sustainability, you have a much better chance than anyone else. And if they realize that you are not, if they realize that you are one of those companies which is just concerned about their short term profit, even if it be at the cost of environment or the people, you lose the traction, even if you are doing the best marketing, even if you have the best marketing agency. So consumers are what has forced the big businesses to change and embrace it as much as they are doing it. And as small business owners, even if you're not as much on the hook, you want to go ahead and do it today to get ahead of the curve and to get a better share of the market, to get your eyes and ears of your consumers and to have them as repeat consumers. So that was one. And another, the flip aspect of it, the second aspect is competition. If in your business, if in your locality, if there are other small businesses which are actually doing it, even a couple things, and you are not, you'll be left behind. No one wants that. So, consumers, competition, collaboration. There are a lot of opportunities of collaboration which are, and thankfully, they are increasing by the day. People who are operating with this perspective, they like to collaborate with other business owners who are operating with the same perspective. For example, one, you are in business excellence and sustainability. That's one of your main things. That's what you talk
Yeah.
about, that's what you consult about. If you had to hire a supplier for this podcast or any other business, or hire a consultant or hire anyone else, you would prefer someone who's
Yeah.
already in that mindset rather than someone who's not.
Definitely.
So, collaboration, there are huge opportunities. Thankfully, in many countries, for example, even here in the US, there are a lot of incentives available from the government and many nonprofits as well. That's another thing. And the last but not the least is many entrepreneurs, they start their business with the hope to be able to say, do an exit someday.
Mm.
If you're one of them, you want to know that there are many VCs, that there are many investors who want to invest mainly or only in businesses which have sustainability as one of their core dimensions. So if you're someone who is looking at a future potential exit strategy, that's again there. So essentially, I go in deep drilling down the numbers with my clients about each of these factors, and then it
Amazing.
just, it just clicks for them. Then they realize it that they want to do it now. They want to do it and they want to do it now, as I said.
Yeah. It's so interesting because it's really like a paradigm shift. Because usually, if you think about a couple years back, a lot of the small business owners will say, well, I cannot put any other focus or initiatives into my small business because I don't have the time or the money. But if you think about putting this whole sustainability topic on your agenda, that's actually going to increase your profitability and the way how you're going to do your business in the future.
Yes. And you exactly, as they say, hit the nail on the head, because
Yeah.
this exactly it is. This is a paradigm which is going to make you profitable and grow. As in, I use the word survival and success.
Yeah.
This is what is needed for your survival and success, not just today, not just next month, but over a longer period of time. And now at this point, if you allow, we can talk about the how.
Yeah.
And again, I've tried to simplify it. There is a lot that is available, but unfortunately, as I said, most of the research work, most of the framework is geared mainly towards big businesses. I try to create a structure, inspire, take a lot of inspirations from what is already available and create a structure just for small businesses, demystifying it. So the how is, so the concept of 4 P's. So I tell my clients the 4 P's stand for people, planet, profit, and purpose. These are like the four legs of a table. That table cannot stand if one of the legs is not there or is dwindling. And while a lot is talked about ESG, that's something really awesome. But I think sustainability is more than even ESG. It is like a paradigm, it is a way of life.
Yeah.
And this way of life for small businesses is based on these four legs. So the first question you want to evaluate from the 4 P's perspective is this business decision, or is this new product, or is this new strategy, is this gonna make my people's lives better? Is this gonna impact my people's lives and make it better? That's the first P, people. Second
Yeah.
P, planet. With this new business decision, with this strategy, with this product, like whatever I'm doing, is this gonna make the planet worse? Am I eating into the resources more than am I adding back? What's my carbon footprint? And then we deep dive in all the details. But what's the impact on planet? Is it a net positive impact? It is a net negative impact.
Yeah.
Then I talk about profit. Profit, because as you mentioned, for small businesses, one of the main concerns has always been that, hey, you know what? Last year, there were 2 weeks when I was scrambling to find money to pay my payroll. You want me to do this? Where will the money come from this? So I tell them this, any important strategic decision which you're making, you evaluate it even from the perspective of your profit. Is this decision gonna add to your profitability? If it is not, don't just throw it away. That, okay, you know what, I'm not gonna embrace it. Try to be creative and you'll be able to find solutions.
Mm.
Although in profit, I recommend taking a medium to a long term view rather than just this week, this quarter. And the last but not the least is purpose. I'm also a trained executive coach. So whenever I have a business coaching angle conversation with my clients about this, I bring them to this aspect. What were one of your initial drivers before you started your business? And when we dig deep, there is always an impact angle. Anyone who started a small business, even if the initial drive could have been, I want to be my own boss and all that stuff, but then internally, there is a drive to create an impact much bigger than yourself. So if you get back to your own purpose, if you get back to your own true North Star, why did you start your business in the first place? You wanted to start it to create a positive impact. And a positive impact means a positive impact on people and a positive impact on the environment.
Yeah.
You know. So the 4 P's, even if people forget everything, the 4 P's is like the North Star is like a mantra.
Yeah. And from what you have seen from your clients, which is the one they struggle the most with? Is it the one for people, for planet, for profit, or purpose? Which is the one that it is most difficult for them?
The most difficult part is trying to find a solution which meets all the 4 P's.
Yeah.
Small businesses at times, there are a lot of people who are committed to their employees and want to do good things for them. So people aspect is usually there because it is easier to understand. People think that, okay, if my people are happy and doing well, then I'll be kind of better off.
Mm.
Profit is something which is of course easier to understand. Planet and purpose are things that require a little deeper of a conversation.
Yeah.
Purpose, because it is lost somewhere in the hullabaloo, in the daily run of life. So that's where the purpose conversation.
Hmm.
And planet, the problems here have been usually small business owners, their problem, essentially why they have not embraced it as much, are there are three things there. And I'm talking about the planet dimension, the factors which inhibit them.
Yeah.
One of the factors is they don't know enough. And what I mean by that is they think that, oh, you know what, this is some huge concept. I, as a small business owner, as an individual, am committed to this cause, but in my role as a business owner, maybe not. So they don't know enough about it. They don't know enough about how to do it. They don't know enough about the why of it. And they are not to blame because there is not enough material available which is geared for them. So one aspect is lack of knowing enough. Another aspect is small business owners, you and I would agree, are usually in the space where we say that, hey, you know what, I don't have enough time. I'm anyway everything from the janitor of my company to the, like to the chief everything officer of my company.
Yeah.
So I don't have enough time to take this on. So lack of time, lack of knowledge, and lack of resources, financial resources.
Yeah.
When we tie all of these things together, it just does the magic. So my answer to this, when of course this involves a couple consulting conversations, is that as long as you are looking at the environmental aspect, the sustainability paradigm, as a good to have, as something on the fringe, until then you are only looking at that as a cost item.
Yeah.
When you're looking at it as a cost item, then you say, okay, you know what, this is costing me so much money, what return am I getting? This is costing me so much time, what return am I getting? You need to change your paradigm from looking at it as a fringe cost benefit, cost item, to a strategic change. So therefore my recommendation is to embrace this as the core of your business strategy rather than having it as a fringe item.
Yeah.
you know as a fringe item, let's take an example. I've had people who told me, hey, you know what, I recycle. I have this coffee shop, I have this barber shop, and I recycle. So am I not already doing it? Yes, you are, but then it is good that you're doing at least that part, but it is not enough.
Yeah.
It is like a fringe item. If next month you don't have enough money for your payroll, you'll be like, you know what, let me not pay that recycling money, let me maybe save on that. But when it is kind of ingrained in your core corporate business strategy,
Mhm.
then you wouldn't do that. For example, if you're a coffee shop, you don't even think that, oh, you know what, let me start making really bad coffee to save on the cost, because that's going to kill your business,
Yeah.
because that's the core of your business strategy. We need to bring the planet dimension in the same way as the core of your business strategy,
Mhm.
rather than as a fringe item. And that's where, kind of
Yeah.
people just shine like, oh, okay, now that makes sense.
And on top of that, I think as a small company, you will also attract the right type of people to your company, even if it's one employee or two employees, but you'll be attracting then those who are really resonating with that purpose that you have and that objective that you have as a business and what contribution you are doing to society. Only like this, you're going to get people who will be passionate about working with your small company and not people who just say, I'm just taking the job there because I just need the money. And they're maybe not even passionate about it because they just want the money to pay the bills. So if they're ready from those 4P, if they're going to be really good with their purpose and they have good initiatives and also intentions with the planet goals, then automatically they're going to be attracting the right people to their company.
And you are exactly right. Again, this is something which I've talked about in my book as well. I don't know if you've ever been an employee. I've also been an employee. So, also from that perspective, question to all of us: would you want to work for a boss or a company that just cares about their next quarterly profit at the cost of everything else? Or would you prefer another employer who cares for you as their employee or potential employee, who cares for the planet, who's operating with a bigger mission? You know what? Every single person, every single employee, it is an honor to work for a company, and it is a privilege which you can kind of bestow upon you and your people, to be working for a company, a business which is doing something much beyond what they are doing.
Exactly. And the employees would do the extra mile.
Yeah, and they always go, they want to relate to something bigger than just them.
Yeah.
In my business, we, for example, one thing which we did, another cause really close to my heart, we go ahead and volunteer with a food bank
Hmm.
nearby.
Yeah.
Because especially the city where I live and work, again, given the whole economic balance, there are a lot of people who are in need, and I've always had my employees love that.
Mm. Yeah.
It gives them a mission beyond, okay, you know what, I'm not just driving and delivering, I am doing it for a much bigger purpose.
Yeah.
The food bank is just one small thing, it's just one initiative, but I'm working for an employer who is working from a much bigger perspective rather than just his dollars.
Yeah.
So you rightly said that, yeah.
Fantastic. And from your clients you've seen so far, what are the three things that usually their small business struggles with being successful in their sustainability program, and what are the three things very successful that you have seen so far? So, like those two sides of the coin, the things that are difficult and the things that are easy for them.
When it comes to embarking on the sustainability paradigm, the three main challenges have always been lack of resources, lack of time, and lack of, and I mentioned that, lack
Yeah.
of knowledge. Like, I don't know about it. Is it good for me? And all that stuff.
Yeah.
These are the three main kind of inhibitors. Once they embark on it, once we are able to do that strategic conversation, bringing it at the core of the strategy,
Mhm.
then it just does the trick. Then people are successful. Then when we tie, you are an expert in Six Sigma, then when we tie aspect of continuous operational excellence, and this also feeds in sustainability, when we tie into that aspect, that does the trick. That is easy to embark on usually for them because it is easier to understand.
Mhm.
And this is really important. You are a Six Sigma expert. You know that if a business is wasting their resources, it is not being sustainable.
Absolutely.
You can have two programs going on and market everything, all that you can about it, but then you are not if there is a lot of waste in your process, if there are a lot of inefficiencies in your process. So, continuous operational excellence is one of the keys. Then that sets up a whole paradigm. So, first of all, the strategic conversation, then the continuous operational excellence, and then, for every single decision, the four P's. So, when we adopt this approach, then it works for them.
Yeah. Very, very good. Let's now take a quick break to mention that the sponsor of this podcast is Wave Business Excellence Footprint, my digital training company deeply committed to your career and personal growth. On our website, www.wave-bef.com, you can find more than 20 courses tailor-made for managers and for employees aiming to become better each day. One of the most sold courses for managers is the Lean Six Sigma for Manager certification, a year-long program that boosts team motivation, improves customer satisfaction, tackles process issues, and improves company culture. For your employees' development needs, our top courses include the Lean Practitioner certification, addressing real process problems. Additionally, we offer the Green Belt and Black Belt certifications, equipping individuals with new skills for impactful projects that bring measurable results. And do not miss the Presentation and Communication Skills course, perfect for improving presentation abilities, whether it's online or in person. Head over to www.wave-bef.com for more information. And without naming any client names, could you give us an example of one of your success stories you have seen?
Again, given the client privacy and stuff, let's talk about a local coffee shop.
Mhm.
A local coffee shop which I was working with, their entire mission statement was really cool. They are an immigrant in the US, so they wanted to bring coffee and sweets from their culture and wanted to expose people to that. So, and it has a really fancy name and really good place to vibe. Essentially, I started off as a customer, and then when we chatted with a business owner, she was always there in the shop. Then we started talking about it. One of the initial things was I told her that you're doing a great job in terms of footfall when it comes to this. We started talking about sustainability. We started talking about the strategic aspect of it, how she can embrace
Mhm.
sustainability, not just the fact that she's bringing from another culture, she's bringing the coffee and the sweets and everything,
Mhm.
but the whole sustainability angle. So they did small things, but really powerful. They were doing their initial recycling and all that stuff. We went ahead and did a whole deep dive in their strategy, looked at every single process.
Wow.
So we built SOPs for every single process, SOPs which were focused on the people dimension,
Yeah.
so that those SOPs would enable any new employee to actually come and feel empowered after their 2-day training to embark on the job and still provide the same customer service.
Mhm.
Their coffee was actually anyway being sourced from farmers in their home country, which were like really poor farmers. I encouraged her to start talking about that dimension, that how she's impacting that. When it came to the profit dimension, because we realized that she was losing money at quite a few places in all of these initiatives, we started talking about how she can actually end up capitalizing that. because she was bringing a certain culture, a certain vibe, and now also embracing sustainability, both from the people as employees and people as customers dimension. We started doing a whole advertising marketing part where she would get those coffee tumblers and she would brand them with her logo and she would start sending them out. So any customer who brought those coffee tumblers with that coffee shop's name would get coffee at a discounted price. So her tumblers sale went through the roof because even that had a cultural vibe of the cultural dimension that she was bringing.
Yeah.
And all of them were repeat customers because earlier people would come in and take an hour, kind of just sit and enamored that space. Now her footfall for people who would just come to get their coffee and run to their job, that also increased a lot. So her customer retention increased, a lot of new customers were added. The margin on these coffee tumblers, it also added to the whole profit dimension. And all of this was also aligned to her purpose
Yeah.
to bring back and talk about the culture which she was from, which she wanted people to know, understand, and explore.
Yeah. Fantastic. I really like that example. And that again brought me to think about a coffee shop that I've seen here around the corner. They're just about 3 minutes away walking. And one coffee shop is always full. So in the morning when I drive my daughter to school, I see that there's just a line of people waiting outside. But then if I see a couple of meters later, it's just the same. I would say they sell the same products. Yeah, they have croissants, they have coffee, they have tea. So it's basically almost the same products that both of them have, but the other one is almost always empty. So I was really like wondering what is the reason why, even though they're so close to each other, but one is there's a waiting line and the other one is empty. So I did go there a couple of days ago, and what I did notice that shop that was almost empty, you could already feel it just when you walked in there that the employees were not happy working there. They don't even greet you. They seem to be just with their mind somewhere else. So they're just working because they have to work there and they don't care about the
Mhm.
customer that much. And they were not very friendly. And when I went to the other one, I could see how passionate these people were working there. And they also had certain initiatives for the sustainability. You could see that people were feeling connected with that shop who were working there. And that was transferred to the customers as well. So as a customer, you want to go to places where you know that these people are passionate about what they do, even though it's the same product as the one next door, but they rather go to the one which they feel more connected with. So that really brought me to what you've mentioned just now with your example.
I'll just share a quick example now that you're saying this. When we're talking to the employees as a next part to our consulting, the employees in this client of mine, when they got the fact that they are not just working to sell coffee, they are working to talk to people about a culture, about how things are done in a particular culture, and the fact that they wear it on their sleeves, that they are proud of the fact that they are supporting and serving the planet.
Yeah.
It did what you said, the whole people aspect changed. And we had customers. I remember a lady who was walking in the door when I was there for one of my next meetings. She brought in her tumbler and all that stuff. We gave her the discounted rate, and then she was like, no, you know what, I don't want the discounted rate. I just love what you guys are doing and I just love the way you are. I don't want the discounts and all that stuff, the 99 cents discount.
Yeah.
Charge me the whole money. I'm here not to save my 99 cents. I'm here because of the cause, because of what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it just touched her so much, and there are others like that.
Fantastic. It's beautiful to see such things. And then again, it shows us that we as humans, we are made to have that community and to be together and try to do something for a good cause. For me today in this conversation, it was such a aha moment to think about, well, it's not just the big companies who can make a difference. It's also all those little companies, because there are just so many of those smaller companies. If each one of them would be doing a small initiative towards the right direction and you put them all together, then it's like your analogy. Then the bird has the full wingspan in order to do their full performance, yeah, and to fly as high as they want to.
Yeah.
So, Kumar, we are almost to the end of our conversation today. So, my final question for you today is, what are your services that you provide for your clients? And where can my listeners find you if they're interested to work with you and to find out more about the things that you do?
First of all, I would recommend every listener to go ahead and take a quick look at the book. It is called The Sustainable Entrepreneur. It is available on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, and other platforms. If you have a Kindle, it is available for free on Kindle Unlimited. I have my website where you can reach me. I am kumarv.com. Let's just talk, connect, even if it is not for a whole consulting engagement. I would love to just chat with anyone who wants to embark on this journey and is on the cusp, not sure if they should do it or not, or they're not sure how to do it. Let's all of us work together to achieve our shared vision of leaving the planet a much better place than what we got.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Kumar. It was a pleasure having you here in this conversation. And I'm really looking forward to seeing so many really interesting projects that you'll be doing with your customers in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Kumar. Before we wrap up, let's reflect on the key takeaways that can reshape the way we see sustainability in the business. Point number 1. Kumar highlighted that sustainability isn't just an individual's duty. It's a collective responsibility that extends to every company, regardless of size, holds a unique role in building a sustainable future. Point number 2. Our discussion emphasized the essential role played by small businesses in shaping the economy and providing employment. Kumar underlined the significance of their active participation in sustainability efforts, acknowledging the deep impact they can have. The framework of people, planet, profit, and purpose is a strategic guide for small businesses to integrate sustainability into their operations and how this approach can be a game changer. And for the final point, Kumar stressed the power of integrating sustainability as a core business strategy. Not only does it lead to increased profitability, but it also raises customer loyalty and boosts employee satisfaction, creating a win-win scenario. For your convenience, we've collected all the links and references mentioned by Kumar in the show notes. Please take a moment to rate, subscribe, share your comments, and pass along this episode to individuals who could gain from it. Your support is very much appreciated, and I'm grateful for your messages, as I am also a work in progress and persistently striving to improvement each day. Thank you, stay tuned, and see you in the next episode of Business Excellence for Managers.